Amanda, can I bug you a minute?
Okay.
Okay, you know I'm in this great guitar build-off, obviously. I need help deciding. Before I go with the finishing, should I enter the 28.5-inch scale baritone?
Mm-hmm.
Should I enter the 25.5-inch scale lead guitar?
Mm-hmm.
Or, ready for this one? 30-inch short scale bass?
Could you enter all of them?
You mean like this?
Dude!
Well, now you've seen it. And thanks to a lot of digital trickery and magic from my boys and their editing talents, it made it look so easy for me to just pop it up, and boom, pop it down. It's all one unit. Yeah, it took a little bit more than that. There you have it, though. There is the Multitasker. Yeah, and it really did take a lot of measuring, a lot of cutting, a lot of recutting, a lot of glue. Well, just watch all this footage. We'll show you how we took these 3 separate guitar pieces, made it into a single guitar with 3 separate panels, 3 different tunings, 3 different necks, different pickups. Thank you, Seymour Duncan, for making such great pickups. What can I say? The thing, it looks awesome. It sounds awesome. You've got a few more minutes to hear the demo. It's going to come towards the end, but you got to see what little things that we had to do to make this all work and to make it all fit. And wow, what can I say? Thank you, Ben Crow, and all the folks at Crimson Guitars, Talitha. Thank you, all the other guys that have been a great inspiration. I've been watching some of these guitars and some of this, it's just amazing. I mean, geez, there's that ice cream sandwich thing going on. I mean, that one's pretty cool. Odin, dude. I think I've mentioned it a couple of other times throughout the video, but I'm really enthused, by all the other ones, and there's many more that I forgot to mention. I'll just throw it in the comments, the ones that I think I like. But again, wow, this was fun. This was challenging. It was a little bit laborious at times, but in a good way, in a way that, I love troubleshooting. Unfortunately, with my life, I'm never out of things to love. So, the more I give myself trouble, the more I get to troubleshoot. So what can you say? Again, we've got the Multitasker. We've got a patent on this thing. It is something totally different, so it's cool. I think, it's definitely a prototype. It's held together with duct tape and popsicle sticks, just like I promised. All my prototypes are. But there's ways that we try to beautify it with some special woods. Thank you, San Diego Urban Timber. What can I say? You guys are just awesome. If you guys get a chance to, check out your local wood suppliers. If you're in San Diego area at all, even as far up as Ramona, make the drive down. Go see those folks over at San Diego Urban Timber. They're awesome. And, I got nothing. Just watch the footage. Check out the demo, and thank you again to my boys, Joshua, to Keith, Stuart, you helped out too, I know, and of course Lydia, to my father-in-law Pete, and my wife Amanda, bouncing ideas off these guys all throughout this whole thing, and bugging my family, bugging my friend Larry about this thing. I mean, what can I say? Just everybody has been, on it, and Ferris, got to get your grandpa to play this thing. What do you think? All right? Hey, thanks, guys. Once again, enjoy the footage. And thanks again for tuning into Dude Craft Guitars. All right. Let me show you what we got going on here. So, again, it's all about the 30-degree parallelogram cut. Not a trapezoidal cut, a parallelogram cut. Boom. Boom. And boom. Now these little, not quite 3/4 inch, yeah, probably right about 3/4 inch hunks of red oak that I used to mock up worked perfectly with the router bit that I got. However, these assembled body parts, as you can see by the test, wasn't quite going to do it. But I thought, my first problem, I could make it work. You know, have a little bit of an overlap, but make it work. Well, what I didn't take into consideration was the contour of the matter. Yeah. So, you know, in my efforts of making this thing somewhat purdy and guitar looking, I had, remember my MDF template, I made some nice little cars via a Stratocaster. I stole some curves off of. Well, that was all well and good on the MDF template. And had I cut these the way I just did, and sorry I didn't get footage of it, it got dark outside, and I do all my major cutting outside. But had I done that to begin with, they would have been fine. But doing it on the router, having those curved pieces with the non-reliable fence on that router, really made a mess of things. That's the beauty of prototyping. Nothing's really set in stone. All the technical drawings for the patent and all that are all going to be based on proof of concept anyway, so I didn't sit around on CAD and figure this thing out. I just started cutting wood. And in doing so, realizing that, you know what, my table saw with the sled set at 30 degree for the cuts worked absolutely fine. It was actually marvelous. It was easy for me on the sled to mark the lines, hold the panels right where I wanted them to be, cut each side. I was able to fix the mistakes that I made. I did lose a little bit of the prettiness at this point, but once I get this thing glued and clamped, let it sit overnight, meet tomorrow with some hand saws, chisels, blades, Shinto grinder, trim router, some extra cut-offs of wood, whatever it takes. We're going to make this thing pretty again. By the way, can you see the base one? Yeah, cool. When I make prototypes, some people think I'm kidding when I say that there's popsicle sticks and duct tape. So yeah, that's actually for the pickups, because if you remember, right, I got an hourglass thing on the back. We'll have to make a plate for the pickups to screw into. That works just fine. And by doubling it was the exact height. So I actually have a nice direct contact with those pickups. When I did a little sound check on it after the initial dry assembly, it actually sounded pretty awesome. And they're just the right height, so I don't need to use sponge, springs, or tubes or anything, and to get that direct connect to the wood, which, you know, when you're dealing with such a small piece of wood, is kind of a nice thing. So that's what I'm going to do now is glue this up, clamp it up. I'll probably just use spring clamps on top. Guess what? I didn't clamp. I looked at the thing and I was trying to figure out how to clamp it, and I said screw it, and that's literally what I did. Now, because I already determined the way of the angle of things, that I was going to go ahead and just, you know, put some nice decorative end caps on here anyway. I figured, who cares if there's screw holes under that? That's just going to hold more glue. What more good guy asked for? I mean, this is the most ridiculous, silly looking thing. And but because it's unique, I did register it. So yeah, we are getting a patent on this. All the paperwork is going through for it, because I made it as a as I go type item. That's how I am. I just jump straight to proof of concept rather than sitting down at a computer with engineering and all that. I do have an engineer drawing up the actual plans for making these in production. that's, yeah, what else can I say? It is going to be something that's going to take a lot of work yet. This is Thursday. I've got to turn in a final video with a demo of me actually playing the guitar, somebody playing the guitars. And that's going to be for Saturday. Now I am going to, just going to cut an end piece. And in that end piece, it's going to be an access hole so I can get it to the electronics. Those electronics are going to run in a ground fault circuitry. What that means is this will actually cover the hole. This is a little Lazy Susan piece, and that's going to cover the hole. Now this end swivels. Well, as you could see, my jack does not. So that will allow me to have this connected. This holds circuit. So this will hold a ground circuit, and of course being on the outside of the jack is the ground. So the ground would be connected to each of the outputs of each guitar panel. This will be connected to a cabinet switch. This cabinet switch holds a great circuit, steel. So these two will be connected as ground. Each of these panels will have a ground dimple that this will go into. So each of the grounds, the positives of each of the guitar circuitries are going to come into here. But the grounds are actually going to go to each one's own dimple. So that when I rotate the switch, I can plug it in. This is on a spring, so now it's done. It's not locked. I can rotate it. Then I push it in to that dimple and it locks it in place. Once I've got that locked in place, that is the guitar that I'm playing. The others are silent. I don't have to worry about the fact that my gut is rubbing up against the thing because it's silent. I'll feel it. Same thing. If I go to this one, you know, release it, swivel it, engage it. Boom, this guitar's on. Now I'm playing this one. That is the way it worked when I was on the toilet thinking about it. And we're putting it all together, you know, and I've got 2 days to make it happen.
All right, so here's the dilemma. I've got panel ends that I'm going to do something with. I wasn't originally going to, but I also thought that we'd have all full curves, but obviously once you start cutting angles, something I didn't think about. I really should have planned the back piece and then do the decorative top on everything. But I wanted to make sure that each guitar in and of itself worked before I put it together. That's what happens when you make prototypes, live prototypes versus something that's been drawn out. But that's okay. That's something that is going to then be adapted into the templates and moving forward. Now, that being said, what I'm going to do is put some type of decorative, panel on here. An end cap, so to speak. Now, I've got these. These came off the necks. These are ready to go. I could do them. They're pretty. They're mahogany. They're maple. I'm probably going to put like a burst black stain anyway. But then I got to thinking, here we are at the last little bit. This thing is almost done, but not done. I've got issues making the videos, getting things produced on time. And I've got basically a day and a half left to do this. And it popped in my head, what would Ben do? And you know what? He would complicate things, wouldn't he? So let's do that. Now, you know how I did the fretboards with the mesquite and the wenge and the maple? Let's do that again. Wouldn't that be cool? Yeah. Let's do it. Let's do that. Yeah, and of course what that means is that I'm going to have to tape this up, trace it out, put some type of random argyle-ish kind of thing to it, cut it, or actually tape them all together, cut them, take them apart, rearrange them, glue them, wait for the glue to set, I'll probably use C8, but even still, and then I'll be able to put it on here. So, we're talking about probably adding a couple hours to my limited time. Or I could sand this flat, glue that on there, couple hours, I'm done. Because even once I do this, I still have to glue it on there in a couple hours wait. So really, we're talking something that's maybe 2 hours down the road. And that's glue time. So while the glue is drying, I could be doing other things, working on the editing of other videos. Or if I was just making a guitar, I wouldn't be talking in this video and this stuff would have been done already. And I probably would have done something like this, which isn't bad looking. But this is the great guitar build-off, people. Yeah. It's time to, it's time to do it. Yeah, there's no diamonds on this, but that's okay. Let's go for it. Hyper's mode now. I failed. And what I failed at was getting the rotary switch to work, the self-inflicted rotary switch. So apparently there's a certain way to make a rotary switch. And a couple cabinet tabs and some lazy Susans and pieces of wood is not the way to do it. So the good news is, darn it, went all the way through. The good news is one of the things that I wanted to do with this is because it's so new, I wanted to protect it. Now I don't expect anybody to make a bunch of these. I don't expect to make another one myself, but I do want the ownership. You know, it's mine, and that's all. You know, if it works, if it fails, if it becomes something that somebody else wants to play, make, or whatever, I just want to be able to say that this is the first time anybody saw it. That's all. So IP is taken care of. This is mine. Win, lose, or draw. What in the world? That was working a moment ago. Now not so much. What did I do differently here, Stuart? Everybody say hi to Stuart. He's behind the camera this time. Okay, that's working. I think I've over tightened this lazy Susan. Is what I did. And apparently they don't like it when you do that. Apparently they really don't like it when you do that. So what I've done is I've choked it down. And I don't want to do that. I want this at least be able to rotate from body face to body face. This whole thing has been about trial and error until you get trial and by golly it works. So you can't attach it. Instead I'm going to be a wise guy and go ahead and glue that on. Even though I don't have any accelerator, we'll have to wait the good old-fashioned whole minute for that to set. So what we're going to do is we're going to get this thing going. Now I'm going to go ahead and put the phone back on hyper mode. This is a playable musical instrument now. Here in a little bit you will hear it plugged in and you will hear me hack away trying to make some something that resembles music on it. I am having a little bit of a difficult time on some of the attachments, some of these pertinences, some of the hardware. I had to get some of the hardware that you know, it's off-branded stuff. I'm sure it's got a brand somewhere. Maybe it's a little bit knocked off of somebody else's designs. I don't know. That's one of the downfalls of this COVID lockdown, that we're all under the quarantines. Some of my favorite parts suppliers are not necessarily available with all their product lines. If they are available, they certain product lines they don't necessarily have. You could just get in small quantities and small runs, and it's I don't like this bass bridge setup. Sometimes you find hidden gems, and you know, the guitar bridges aren't too shabby, really. They're kind of on that cam system, and they got this really neat little dealy here, this little winder. And I think originally this is something that either designed or created by Alps, and you know, they're anything that's Alp related and aluminum in their name usually is not too shabby and or can be excellent. You know, anybody who knows from the fishing side of the world that I'm on, you know, I mean, Alps are great, but I don't know exactly. It says on it something licensed by Katie, then patent. So I don't know. It's again, it's not too shabby. There's some little, you know, mechanical tolerances that are you got to be a little forgiving on. You know, I ordered the thing and got it within a week or so. You know, ordering it online, and that's just the best you could do sometimes right now. So I'm just doing all the final tune-ups. Intonation is still a little bit. Actually, I think it's fine on the 25-inch scale, and then on this one, I think I had a little. Actually, it's almost good there. I think this string, which is the hardest one on a baritone, sometimes you really have to overcompensate on the bridge to set it up. This one is actually good. So in this case, I think I've got it tuned to A. Yeah, I didn't quite tune it up to B. I might just leave it in A. But it actually was pretty good. When I tuned it earlier, I tuned it to A for a reason. I want to make sure that I could adjust the neck on it, get it all set up. And it's good. There's a little bit high action on there. I did shim it at first, and that was too much, so maybe I'll shim it again, but a lot lighter shim. I love the fact that with bolt-ons you can kind of make adjustments and make things wiggle and jiggle until they line up right. That's pretty much it. That's I think I did have a phase thing. I've got to pull the switch, get one of those wires going. Are you ready to hear it plugged in? I know I am. Well, I already did, but I mean I want to hear it right. So let me pop this toggle switch out, change the phasing on either one of these, because it doesn't matter, because they're going to correct it with themselves. So all you have to do is change one. If I change both, then I'll be in the same trouble. So let me do that and quick gabbing and let you guys hear this thing. Oh yeah, that's right. Wait a minute, we got some more things that we got to do. What do we have to do here? We got to let's get the dude logo, because that's about the only headstock that's big enough to do it. Looks like I've got. Screwed on. Looks like I've got do the headpiece. Now I've been playing it seated down and it's just fine, but I know I should make it so you can stand up with it. And what I am going to do, is make a piece here for the strap pin. It's a lot of work, man. I'd just rather make it so I can sit down and then pretty it up. I've added some scratches. I've found some spots that I didn't sand as well as I thought I should have, and so. Yeah, let me get the apron on and get to work. And quit gabbing already. Geez, James, we've been watching this video for half an hour and you haven't even played the guitar for us. Stick around.
Well, here she is, the Multitasker. This is the bass panel. That's what we've got here, is a 3-panel 3-neck guitar. So and it ends up being in like a box. So maybe we'll figure out some piezo cajon thing. Maybe we can get going. But well, you'll notice the feature. Their little cookie here. It's got this thing will turn without turning this. So that's kind of cool. This is obviously Plan B. If you watch the video up until now, you'd see why the other things that we had planned with the rotary switch. One of the other things was a cap. And we still might do it. What we're going to do is put studs in the heads of the neck, and then put a strap pin so it can carry the thing. But I'm telling you, it feels so comfortable having this thing on the lap and playing it. You'll see here in a moment, I'm going to do something I normally don't do. I am not a looper. Okay? But I'm going to loop something, and it's a riff that maybe you heard in one of the other videos. Song of mine that's like, I don't know, 20-something years old. But a little instrumental thing. So I'm going to play that. I'm going to do that as a loop. Yeah. So so let me just show you. We've got the bass here, and then we've got the standard 25.5-inch, standard lead guitar type scale. And this is the only one that's actually got more than just a volume knob. All the others just have volume knobs. Now they have, on those volume knobs, they have push-pull pots. So right now the thing is silent. Pull it up, it's opposite. And that way, when you turn it off to go to the next one, if I was to bump that knob, it doesn't matter because I'm bumping it into the off position. Same thing here. Now this is a 28.5-inch scale baritone. Now these are tuned to standard tuning with the E as the bass note. This one's got A as a bass note. Okay. That's what we got going. So let's do this. Again, I'm not a looper. I may not get this the first time through, but let's see what we can do. Right now. Okay, so here we go. So get that rhythm thing. I need a quick thread. All right. Aha! See what I mean? It would help, James, if you turn it on. There we go. made into a triangular box with 3 different tuned necks on it. Come on. All right, let's talk about some of the other stuff. You've already heard most of the details, but all the nerdy things. Yes, we do, of course, it has push-pull pots. We've got nickel frets with stainless for the 0 frets. All the necks have 0 frets. They've got, they're headless. I can say I am surprised that I was trying to get some, more higher end type of stuff for the, bridges, but, with the COVID thing, it's really hard to get from some of our regular distributors. I was in a timeline, so I did the old Amazon thing. I must say these are actually not that bad. I'm not too happy with these, and I think I may have even mentioned that in one of the shop segments. But it'll work, one of the main things I really don't like about this particular bass bridge is just it's giving me blisters tuning it. But hey, maybe you get a blister on your little finger, maybe you get a blister on your thumb. I am absolutely 100% happy with the woods that we chose. And again, thanks to Jess and Dan over there at San Diego Urban Timber, SD Urban Timber. They're really cool. And also, of course, the 1/4 pounder Seymour Duncans. Those pickups are a must for a bass if you want like a humbucking P style. I mean, this just works perfectly. And then, of course, we got Seymour Duncans here. Now, this is what's really interesting. Again, talking about orders being delayed. These are what I got right away from Seymour Duncan, and I'm still waiting for other pickups for to have ready for guitars that I'm building. I do have some customs, but this is actually not a neck pickup, but a middle pickup. And this is which is why you may have saw in the earlier segment I had some phasing wrong. So I fixed that. This is actually a neck pickup. It comes with the set of the Wes Hodges Jupiters. So I only wanted to go with one humbucker here, and I looked around at the other humbuckers that I had, and I didn't have any other Seymours. I had some other various brand stuff, but I wanted to go all Seymour Duncan on this guitar. I mean, it just didn't seem right to have Seymours all over and then all of a sudden throwing Onkyong or something anyway. So what we've got is like I said, actually the neck, but at first I was going to go single, and I thought why not? It wouldn't be that hard to put in a switch. And when I originally thought we were going to have a rotary switch, I thought that I'd have the pickup switched off of a push-pull pot then. But now this is an on-off, so wada boom. So this is a lot about this guitar is Plan B, mostly because Plan A probably wasn't a very good plan. So there you have it. I learned a lot. I've never made a three-dimensional, 3-neck guitar before. I've also never made headless, so this is my first bout with making headless guitars, and there are some refinements that we have to do, mostly because I just don't know what to do yet. We've got this big hollow gate right here, great for grabbing wires. It's a good place to stash stuff, man. You know what I'm saying, man? So you've got that, but I'm almost thinking maybe we should come up with some type of removable enclosure thing, and then you get a really good acoustics out of it. It'll be basically a box. And if we did that, then maybe we could actually put some piezos and talk about your looper special. But if you notice, so maybe even a piezo bridge, or some type of acoustic pickup going on there. And yeah, so the options are endless. I really thought I had a lot of the refinements and sanding and polishing and buffing all done before I did the reassembly. And then I realized the time that I set the necks down from doing the dry assembly to finishing the guitar, the necks needed a little bit more sanding. All the work is done on as far as fretboards, the frets, polishing. There are going to be videos for that that I don't have done yet because we have the raw footage and just yeah. If you've read any of my Instagram posts, you know we've been having some issues with our footage, but it's there, and I will put some very educational type videos together for that. So you see
You know, not necessarily how we made this guitar, but how I approach frets for just about all my guitars. That's that. You know, it's been enough talking. You heard a little demo sample from me playing. I've got a neighbor just down the street who's like Mr. Looper Central, and so I'm going to be talking to him. Ferris, you know, get your grandpa on board here. Let's talk to him. Let's get, and I'll follow up. We'll get more videos of a real guitar player playing this, someone who really knows how to handle a looper and do it well. And you know, something about having to count in time or something, and try to play your riffs as clean as possible. I have a habit of cluttering it up, and then that's how I record. And of course, when you record, you can pull stuff back. You can't do that with the looper. So I ramble too much because I'm just I'm on caffeine kick like crazy, because we put in the hours, my boys and I, on this, and I really appreciate it. I appreciate having this venue. Is that the way to put it? This outlet, this vehicle. Ben, thank you, man. Love you. What can I say? And there you have it. Thanks again for tuning in to Dude Craft Guitars.
Hey, thanks again for tuning in to Dude Craft Guitars. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell.